sourced and bottled in majestic mountains. Liquid Death Mountain water will murder your thirst.
Now I'll pour it with death.
I'm hoping that one day, we won't do this stupid daylight saving thing anymore in this country.
I don't know if they can hear you because you're not looking at the mic when you talk.
That's it? I can't look at the camera?
What's up, guys?
This is what we're doing now?
How is the audio? You can hear Julie? Okay.
Hi, Flana.
We get a lot of conflicting reports, both with whether or not the microphone is picking up our voice at any given time, and whether or not something is overpowered or too weak in the game.
Divine. Hey.
So usually
doing?
when we start, half the people are like, "Oh, I can't hear you," and then other people are like, "Oh no, you sound fine." Just like right now in the general chat of Discord, somebody is saying that Bauhaus is OP, and somebody else is saying that it's totally fine and I beat them every time. So if anybody wonders what
That's a good time to take a sip of coffee right there.
If anybody wonders what it's like to be a game developer, it's your microphone always works and doesn't work at the same time. And if you make it louder, this half quits your stream. And if you make it lower, this half quits your stream.
See, we have to talk about this camera angle. We don't have to change it today, but no, that's not Justin. That's not what I was saying. But as you talk and gesture, you just cover my face like this.
Right, so we need to talk about the camera angle when we're not live and can disconnect everything and move it around.
All right.
We can't do much when, we're live talking to Flana.
Okay. I have another complaint. Here. These are for you.
Why? Oh. So Julie doesn't like when we wear the same kind of glasses because she thinks it makes us look like siblings.
We're not, in case that wasn't clear.
So yeah, daylight savings time is a thing.
It's so dumb.
And we did not sleep well last night, and we lost an hour of sleep. So
there's no way that I'm gonna make it through 4 p.m. today without falling asleep on the couch. So Justin always drinks. We always drink coffee in the morning, obviously, but Justin always drinks like an afternoon coffee, and I thought I was pretty resistant to caffeine at this point, but I had a coffee at like 5. I don't even know what time it was, 4 or 5. No, it was 5 by the time we got over there. And it just kept me wide awake. And I was playing Sudoku, and all of a sudden I just started thinking about like what a failure I am at life. Not at life in total, rather, just in my career. Let me zone in a little bit. It was about my career and how poorly it's gone. And I was late. I started crying. Like, that's how upset I got. I was laying in bed, and I just had like a single tear going down my cheek, and I was like laying on you. Anyways, and then of course that never happens. And then it was like the same night that we lose an hour here.
Buck says I jumped in right at failure at life. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with sleep paralysis, but...
Whoa, hey! The cats and the one of the cats and the dog, they don't say they don't get along, they seem to like miscommunicate.
So anyways...
See what I did there? Did you hear?
Miscommunicate?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Doomtrooper joke. So sleep paralysis.
You lost an hour of failure. Thank God. I don't know if I could have taken the full 24 hours of failure.
Sleep paralysis obviously is a thing where your body can't move, but your brain is wide awake. But I learned recently that the opposite is a thing, kind of. And it has happened to me a couple times in my life. And it kind of happened last night. And I think it kind of helped me understand what's going on. It's basically, I will wake up and I will know I'm awake and I'll get up out of bed and I'll walk around, but I will have this impending feeling of just pure doom.
Apparently you can catch this.
Yeah, so it's like...
I passed it on.
I don't really know how else to explain
She does?
it.
Oh, God.
When I was well, I sleepwalk when I was a kid, which is interesting. But when I was a kid, it happened to me, and I woke up and I like called my mom into the room, and I was like crying and panicking, and my mom was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was like, and I told my sister, and then I sold the whale, and it didn't make any sense at all. But I remember distinctly.
I think selling whales would be really hard work, though.
I remember very distinctly that my sister was really upset because I sold a whale. And I know that sounds stupid. And it happened once about 10 years ago, and I woke up, and I don't remember the specifics, but it was the same feeling.
We've been together 9 years, and it was in the first months of dating.
It happened a little last night because she was freaking out at like 3 a.m., and she whispered, "I love you," in my ear.
Apparently that's like evil. It wakes you up.
But her tone, was anxious or whatever. So my brain triggered like fight or flight. Like, your wife needs you. You need to wake up. But I think at the same time, I had just hit like a deep REM sleep. So I was dreaming.
We can check the Fitbit.
So basically it shot me up out of a dream to help her. But part of my brain like remained in the dream, and that it confuses your brain and it gives you this like sense of dread. It's so weird. I only know 3 times it's happened in my life, last night being a lighter one. It was so weird though. I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced that, but it seems like from last night that it's caused from being in REM sleep and your brain waking up so quickly that it hasn't had time to like come out of the dream state. So it's confusing the real world with whatever world it was just living in. It's super fucked up, pardon my language. Like, it feels so weird. But anyways, I woke up and took care of my wife. We both got up out of bed, and
he did not have to do that, by the way. I didn't ask that. It was just really sweet. He's like, no.
I said, I'm a team player.
You need me. I was like, you don't have to come out into the living room.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced that, but I hope you don't. It feels drug induced. Like, it's really weird. It's really weird. Anyways.
So other people. Okay, so.
Oh, daylight savings time. So America sucks.
2 weeks earlier than the rest of the world. Okay, so everyone else will have to feel this awfulness.
Yeah, so it sounds like our schedules are going to be a little different for some of the European players.
2 weeks.
I guess I'm a dumb American. I don't know how daylight savings time works compared to the rest of the world. So sorry about that. But yeah, this is 11 a.m. now. 11:16.
Also, it's actually daylight saving time. But everybody says daylight savings time, but technically it's just saving. It ain't saving shit though.
Technically it's stupid.
Yes. Yes. Anyways, I'm really tired.
Just really like,
that's the moral of the story.
If time exists per se, minutes, seconds, hours, days, whatever, why do we change it? Like, at its core. Like, I understand there's something about farming and needing more time to plant your seeds or whatever, but like, time.
I don't think that's real.
Like, are we going to have, like, one day we're going to realize that physics are causing a problem for manufacturing, so twice a year we just change the laws of physics? We're just going to be like, oh, like, gravity doesn't exist on May 16th and August 16th, and we're just going to call it physics savings time. Like, time should be a constant. And maybe that's just the engineering of my brain, but, like, we shouldn't be fucking with time.
Time's all ripped to shreds.
Have you guys watched Rick and Morty? You see what happens when you screw with time? Like, it's just not right.
Time is a construct anyways.
Yeah, it's not right, Willow. It's not right. People in charge want to stop the switch. I want to stop all of it. I just want...
I don't get it.
I want time to move 365 days in a quarter second.
My eye is watering just from like sleep deprivation. Just like I would like double of what you're having today.
I'm just saying that physics is a rule of the universe, and time should be a rule of the universe. And if we keep changing time, it's dumb.
Oh my god. It was also called wartime to save on fuel. Yeah.
It'll just make me go, okay, that's cool and freaking dumb.
All right.
I mean, you guys
Courtney
have done...
coming in, of course, with the like sensible thing to say about it.
Courtney's a teacher, by the way, so she's very intelligent and good
there
at
are other
explaining
benefits
things.
for society.
But see, that's a very logical answer, Courtney,
very,
and
that's very Courtney.
I can't disagree with you. But on the flip side, you know, if you do physics equations,
on the flip side, it messed with our streaming schedule. So like,
I just mean like if you do math or physics or whatever, like there's always constants. There's always things that you can count on in your equation to make the math easier. And it bothers me that time is not one of those things.
I'm not gonna make it through this. Like my coffee isn't gonna make it through this stream.
There's a little more out there.
I know. I already refilled.
All right. So first, Doomtrooper order of business before we get distracted again. I have no other plans today, other than finishing the update that I've been working on, and there's like a very small amount of stuff remaining on my list. So that will be working on today, and then tonight when the servers calm down, there'll be a brief maintenance while I'll push everything out, and then I'll go to bed, and you guys will see everything I broke, and then I'll wake up in the morning and 7 people will have quit. But 7 new people will have joined and be so excited about the changes. So it evens out.
Bauhaus OP.
We're not getting rid of the hours in the day. My tiredness disagrees with you, Courtney. You might be technically right, but I feel like we got rid of an hour last night. Oh, no, I know you're right. As always. I can't win. Courtney is the supreme intelligent being.
You get it back in that. There might be a nap today. I feel like there's going to be a crash for me at some point.
Let me see some notes.
So, what's up with Bauhaus? It's overpowered.
Let's see. I fixed some bugs with What Is Thy Bidding.
Oh, that freaking card.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's a good number of players that fall into 2 camps. Well, there's 3 camps technically. There's the ones who have no idea what I'm about to say. Then there's 2 others. One of them finds a bug with a card and just assumes that I know about it because it seems so obvious, and doesn't say anything. And the other one is they know that it's broken, but it allows them to win, so they don't say anything. And I hope that's a small group. But I got a bug report about a very prominent player, who I will not name. One of our top main community members was using a card that obviously did something it shouldn't do during combat, if that helps you realize who you are. And I had no idea. So even if you think that I know about it, I probably don't. I'm tired. And I lost an hour of sleep, so I'm extra tired. Say something. Case in point, Matano.
If you see something, say something.
Matano in his stream was talking to me, and he said that What Is Thy Bidding needs the text changed. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it needs to say more than one card. Because if you play it with one card, it doesn't work. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can get rid of one card and draw one card. Like, that's fine. And he showed me, and it didn't work. I had no idea. But he thought it was working as intended and had never reported it, and neither had anybody else. But he did report it finally, and I fixed it right away. So that's going out. There was basically
Yay, Matano.
Yeah, yay, Matano. There was basically a math bug where if you only tried to do one... I don't care. If you only tried to do one card, it just got rid of a card, and you didn't draw anything. So case in point, just please repeat yourself. I know it sounds dumb, but I have to remember it's like 220-ish card scripts basically in my head, and how they work and which ones are working, which ones aren't, plus an additional 100 or so that are in progress, not to mention the server rules, the client rules, how everything fits together, and arguing with everybody about balance. So things just slip out of my brain.
YZ, one was it 1980? I forgot. Thanks for following. Very delayed response, but thank you for following. Bauhaus is perfect. Lord Awesomeness has decreed it so.
That probably means he's winning with Bauhaus. Yeah. Anytime I hear Bauhaus is perfect, I just hear, I like my 97% win rate.
So it's like a really strong faction to play right now. Is that the problem?
Basically everybody gets a Bauhaus starter deck, and the power curve, if you look at the low-level warriors in every faction, the power curve of Bauhaus is higher at the low end than the other cards. So Etoile Mortant is significantly more powerful than Samurais.
Oh, okay. What are the numbers on?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So another thing in the update, which took me a little longer than I thought, was if you like to make my life hell, you know who you are, and you crafted cards that you weren't allowed to craft, but you thought it was funny. It was kind of funny. And next time you log in after the update, it will remove those cards from your collection, and it will give you back your crafting materials automatically, every time. If you find another bug, it'll take them away. Same with extra cards. This is a big one. So if you are one of the big players who has gathered a lot of starter decks, you might have accidentally got more than 10 of common cards. So next time you log in, if you have more than 10 of any card, it will erase your additionals above 10, and it'll give you the crafting materials for those automatically to craft other cards. Also in packs, you will no longer get more than 10 of a card. So if you already have 10 of a card, it will be removed from the pool before it decides which cards you're going to get. There is a bug, a known issue. If you somehow have 10 of every single card except one or two, nearly positive nobody's gotten there and nobody will get there. The game won't crash or anything, but you'll end up getting less cards from your final pack, which isn't intentional, but that'll be fixed by the time we come out, when you can get variant cards. So at that point, you'll just start getting all golden cards or whatever we offer you. Like, you get a complete playset like a crazy person, whom I love. You'll just get a ton of variants. But currently that's not in, so just let me know. I have a if anybody hits that bug, it alerts me, so I will know. Mitch Hunter and Captain have been updated with new abilities, and Eradicator Death Droid should get his new augments to test, maybe a basic version at first. And Etoile Mortant will have their stats lowered a little bit.
Ha!
I'm changing the wording on a couple cards just to make more sense. And I've been trying to figure out what's going on with BioGiant getting cards they're not supposed to get.
I love your note for that. It's just BioGiant WTF.
Yeah.
That's his notes.
That's the biggest ongoing bug. And there's a lot of little things internally, little fixes and stuff that have been reported, so I should have better notes when it goes out. Willow says at work, if we have bugs with our development software, it'd encourage us to spam reporting it so that it gets fixed. It's interesting to hear you basically want that as a programmer. As a programmer, I don't want that, Willow, but when I wear my project manager hat, I do. Because, and I think if I was just a project manager, I wouldn't want that either. But the problem is that I'm a designer, a project manager, a PR person, a marketing person, and a programmer, and sometimes an artist. And because I have so many hats on, I just forget things. And it's...
I think in an actual, office, full... oh my god, I'm trying to say a word for people. Employed, team, he wouldn't want that.
Yeah, it's just
more...
more...
somebody would handle everything.
It's not that I want it, it's more that I require it, if that makes sense. It's just, Like, okay, so another fix is garbage dump has not, since December apparently, when it was reported in December, it lets you discard more than an extra card per turn. It actually lets you discard 2 extra cards per turn due to it not checking to see whose player's draw step it is when it fires its script. That got reported in December. It got put into the bug tracker, but I've been so busy, no one mentioned it again. And then the same guy mentioned it again yesterday, and I was like, oh, really? I totally didn't know that was even a bug. And I fixed it immediately. But it could have gotten fixed in December if someone would have been like, hey, remember garbage bug dump? It's just we don't have a project manager. We don't have a producer. We just have me and Michael pretty much trying to manage the bug tracker. So
Hi, Michael. Speaking of.
Michael had a birthday this week, so everybody should wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Oh, coffee. We have also there's a group of us that have been talking about this fancy mathematical algorithm that I've been wanting to use for years. It's basically like fight plus shoot plus armor, but armor's worth a little more. Plus, now I forgot it. It's like plus a magic number that represents how powerful your ability is, and then you divide that by your value, and then that equals a number. And in theory, if you were to do that for every warrior in the game, you would get a number somewhere between 2.5 and 4.5. And that would be like a standard deviation, not to get too mathematical for you. Like everything should fall in that curve. A weak card, the algorithm would spit out 2.5, and a powerful card that is okay would spit out about 4.5. And if something was lower than 2.5 or higher than 4.5, it needs to be nerfed or it needs to be buffed so that it falls into that range. I know that this isn't going to work long term, but since we have such a small team, I don't have the ability to figure out the best design decisions for stats. And you guys, as I always say, love you, can't agree on shit most of the time. So what you can agree on, and I can agree on, and we can all agree on, is math. Because unlike time, math is a constant. So I feel like if we can use math to solve the balance issue, it's harder for someone to say, well, I disagree with that. I'll be like, well, the math shows that it is significantly more powerful than all the other cards. If someone's like, well, I disagree, it's like, well, you need to show me math. Which is possible. Maybe the algorithm needs to be tweaked, you know?
Show me the math.
But we seem to get a version of the algorithm that kind of works, which is exciting. So I'm adding that actually into the database so it'll calculate so that like maybe the bot, when you ask them for a card, it will show you its value. And we can start using that and tweaking it and trying to figure out if it works. And that's a slightly more important update than you would think because the way Hearthstone's AI works is, since Hearthstone's a simpler game, the AI will play every card in its hand. And every time it plays one, it'll use math to calculate the value of the board.
Hi, Tomac.
And then when it'll go through every card in its hand and it'll say the card and the target that made the highest value happen is the one I'll play. So it doesn't really like plan ahead and think. It just, the original AI at least, I don't know what it does now, but it just plays the card that will give its board the highest numeric value. But you have to have an algorithm to decide that value, which this will kind of give us. So if we can solidify a value for warriors, we could also make a value for support cards and attachments and whatnot. And then the AI can be transitioned where it doesn't need to know how to play Death Lock Drum. It just needs to know when I play Death Lock Drum, the points go up or down. And in that case, the AI can start playing all factions. It's a little more complicated than that, but this is the first step towards the AI being a lot more in-depth, which is kind of cool.
You're kind of cool.
Go on.
I'm sleepy. Are you loading up the game?
Well, it's your turn to talk. What
It's
are you? Are
not-
you on Reddit?
Yeah, I was looking at Animal Crossing pictures.
No. So Julie's got a story.
I don't have a story. I'm really sad that I'm bored with Animal Crossing, but it's been a year. That's it. That's the whole story. I don't know. Anyway, so here's Histoire Mortant.
Yeah, so
this is the base warrior.
So they have
for Bauhaus, and
power
it's 4,
immunity, which is really
2,
powerful.
6. 6 is pretty high armor for a grunt warrior.
Right. So they're 4, 2, 6, and if you look at samurai,
It's 2, 1, 2. Okay, so I see. This is what people are bitching about. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So Histoire Mortant should probably be more like,
Even at 424, it's still like literally double the power of a samurai. What's another grunt warrior on like a Cybertronic? Like a Chassier. Yeah. 114.
but they augment. So they can be 314 or 134 or I forgot the other one.
Okay.
Oh, they can be 116, I think.
Permanently alter stats by enhancing organic matter via technology. They are special forces. The Hauser was the grunt. So he's saying Histoire Mortant isn't supposed to be the grunt?
Perhaps.
You don't have that in the game yet,
No,
do you?
Hauser wasn't. I mean, we did have at the beginning. We had dragoons, but they have to get pulled until vehicles are added.
So
there's really no like low end cards. There's just Venusian Rangers, which are 4/3/4, which is
okay, so Justin's from Indiana, but his family's from Alabama, so some good old Southern folk. His is it your grandfather? Oh my god, I'm sorry. His grandfather's name is Etoil.
It's true. Etoil. So when you look at
So he sees that and he's like, Etoils!
yeah, I see Etoils.
Etoils.
Lord Awesome is from Indiana. I feel like we maybe talked about that at one point. I don't know. I'm from Valparaiso.
Valparaiso.
Means Valley of Paradise.
Oh my god. You're from Valpo?
Wait. Really?
Anyways, but it's a French word. It's Etoile.
Swear I moved to Tacoma from Valpo.
Who moves from Tacoma to Valpo?
Have you ever been to Galactic Greg's on Lincoln
He
Way?
just moved. Why that place isn't there?
What's not there?
Is Galactic Greg's isn't
He moved
there?
to Tacoma from Valpo.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, he knows Galactic Greg's. I don't know if I've told this story since you've been around, but
You haven't told the story in actually quite some time. But the point was, anyway, before we jump to Galactic Greg's, so are you nerfing Histoire Mortant?
that's the plan, yeah.
But are you not going to add that other card?
We're not adding any cards right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where I put that video.
I mean, I know there's a picture of you outside of... Oh, wait.
Julie, talk while I look for this.
I don't know what to say. Oh, there it is. No, that's the right video. There you are walking outside of it.
Hang on, they can't see that. You're supposed.
No, I know that. He's looking at a video. The one we made for Kickstarter. I knew the actual Greg before he sold it. Oh, wow. That's very cool.
So-
And this story will have
So
a lot more meaning to you.
This is outside Galactic Greg's. This is on the side of the building, and there's the front of the building. And then
Wow, conventions. I remember those. Wow, look at the game. Look at the game.
yeah, I don't.
Look at that.
Yeah, and this is in the back of Galactic Greg's, back where the playing is. So I learned to play Doomtrooper with this guy here. This is Chris Hoffman. He's one of my oldest friends. Him and Steve, who helps with Doomtrooper now, we used to all play Doomtrooper together back in the day. So when I did the Kickstarter video, everything I do is very nostalgic. So we went back to Indiana and we shot the video at Galactic Greg's. So we were there twice to talk about this. Both times I asked for Greg and he was not in. The second time I came and I left my business card and a note for him, just thanking him for, if he didn't have this store, who knows, I would have gotten more trouble. At the very least, I would have been more of a skateboarder and I probably would have gotten busted. But like I could have gotten into drugs or drinking or God only knows. But instead, I played fucking Mutant Chronicles and Doomtrooper at Galactic Greg's and read comic books all the time. So,
no, Justin.
I'm gonna take over from Julie so she stops
Fine.
poking me. So I went there twice with trying to find him and left a note, and then shortly after the last time that I visited, I found out that he had passed away, which is obviously a major bummer because Greg was a very important person in my life. So I went back and forwards a bunch of times with the store and his family, and finally got permission to put Greg as a character into Digital Doomtrooper. So somewhere closer to launch, the idea is that Greg will be a vendor who shows up like once a week in the game, and he has variant cards and special packs and that kind of thing. So he'll be like the store guy who only sells really awesome stuff. So yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, Greg was a very important part of my life growing up, and without him, I wouldn't even know about Doomtrooper. So, fun little fact, since Lord Awesome is from my hometown.
That's incredibly sweet.
Yeah. For anyone who obviously doesn't know, Greg died of cancer, unfortunately. And that's why he wasn't in the store when I was stopping in to shoot these videos, is because I guess he was sick. So, bummer.
That's sad.
Yeah, and I, for people who don't know, I had cancer, wow.
13 years ago.
Yeah, like 13 years ago. Wow, I'm old.
I know, it's really not
So
fun.
being a person who survived cancer, I take it extra hard when somebody close to me dies of cancer. It's like, I guess they call it survivor's guilt.
Thanks for the follow, Moon Up Copy.
Like, why did I get to survive it, but somebody as awesome as Greg didn't? It's like a fucked up thing for your head. I know it doesn't really make logical sense because that's not how diseases work, but it still kind of sucks. So, so the plan, and I need to find an artist who is really capable of recreating like the Doomtrooper, like this art up top, like this style. I need to find somebody who's capable of doing that, and we want to commission a picture of Greg wearing like armor or like maybe like a blacksmith's vest, like a shopkeeper would have, but done in like the Doomtrooper format. So it's very clear he's a shopkeeper, and he would like slide in from the side. Similar to how like these guys slide in. So we'd have a picture of Greg who comes in and he was like, hey trooper, like I'm here for the next 23 hours if you want to see my wares, and there'd be an icon on the main screen. So if you split the left and right into two pieces, you could put something up here in the left, something down here in the right, something over here, and something up here behind my camera. So the idea is like, when there's a special event going on, maybe we'll use one of these quadrants. There'll be an icon that glows, and you can hover over it. It'll tell you about the event. And if Greg is in town, he would have like a little avatar down here, and you could click on him, and he would come in and show you what he's selling. So there'll be like more stuff to interact with on the main menu. Yeah, like the old Paul Bonner stuff, Lord Awesomeness. I mean, at the bare minimum, that has to cost me $1,000 to $2,000 to get something like that commissioned. And it could cost way more, so it's just not something that we've been able to do yet. But I would like to do that as soon as I find someone who's willing to do the work for, something that I can afford. So yeah, Greg was a good dude. The last thing I'll say about that, because I think it's a good life lesson for anyone younger than me. I told you I went to the comic book store as soon as I was old enough to ride my bike all the way down there. And I spent so much time there. I got to know Greg and Jason and all these other people that worked there. And I wanted that to be my job. Like, I had a paper route, you know, but I wanted to work at the comic book store. But as anybody who grew up in a small town knows, every nerd wants to work at the comic book store. So you have to, like, really... You don't just walk in and apply to work at a comic book store. You have to be on a list of people that the owner likes and he trusts, and he'll offer you the job. Like, it's not a traditional job. I think record stores are probably the same, or were when we were kids. Like, you don't just...
What's a record store?
You don't just get a job at the record store. You got to know the people at the record store because the line is so big. Kind of similar to the game industry a lot of times.
Hey, get your patchouli stench out of my store.
What is that from?
It's High Fidelity.
Oh. So I actually got an opportunity to work at Galactic Greg's. The first step is Greg wanted me to mow his lawn every weekend. And then step 2 would be I was going to organize the back room with all the old back stock of comics. And I missed a weekend. I just decided...
It doesn't sound like you.
No, I was a kid, and I was just like, well, I'm busy today, so I just won't go, and I'll just call him tomorrow, and maybe I'll go tomorrow. And whatever it was, I skipped Saturday, didn't tell him. And then Sunday, I called him and was like, hey, Greg, I'm going to come mow your lawn. And he was like, nope, I already found somebody else. Your services are no longer needed. And I was like, damn. And I learned a life lesson like that. Like, Greg and I were still cool, but he was like, I hired you to do a job. You didn't do it. I found someone else. And I never got to work at the comic book store.
Rare misfire
A
for
rare
Justin Renard.
Life lesson learned.
Like 12, 13,
Oops, sorry.
16?
Wrong button. I was like probably 13-ish. So that sucked. Also, I have some new cards going in this update, which is what I'm working on today. I think I talked about them last time. I just haven't got to them yet.
Sergeant?
Looks like Unholy Eye, Monetary Discrepancies, Recollection, and Weapons Manifest.
Play during your turn for 6 destiny and your opponent...
Actually, I think this works.
May not
Unholy
play.
Eye. Monetary discrepancies. Uh-oh.
Nothing happened. Oh,
Wow,
wait.
he like crashed or something.
Wait. What the... We already know that. Now do something.
Oh, uh-oh, there's a bug in the
Wow.
bot. What's he's crashing. Weird that he could reply once, but not,
Yeah, you got Unholy Eye. Oh, I'm sleepy. Oh my god, you guys. Oh, I finished my coffee. There's only like a sip left in my cup. Send help.
Okay, so I think it's only if you can't find the card, and I must have misspelled that one. Weapons Manifest. Monetary discrepancies basically play during your turn and pay 6 destiny. Your opponent may not play attachment or support cards on his next turn. I'm not sure that card's powerful enough, but we'll see.
6 destiny, huh?
And the wording of these cards is going to change ever so slightly, but you get the gist of what they're going to do.
So many cards. I'm yawning again. I'm sorry. I'm like fading.
More coffee.
There's not enough coffee in this house for my needs.
All right, so next order of business is the seasons. So all of our beta seasons have been technically test seasons. We never thought we'd need this many, but I always thought that some
Here we are.
rich Uncle Pennybags would show up and want to publish the game because it's already pretty much done. So since that didn't happen, we had a couple extra test seasons. But I think with the next season, after we finish all the corporations, the seasons are going to extend in length. I'm looking at probably 60 days instead of 30, which gives more time for some of the more casual players to get some games in. And then it allows me to add cards on a more regular schedule, and it allows me to increase the rewards that you get at the end. So it could also be used as the beginning for some more competitive play. Like if you reach the top tier of a season, after like 4 seasons, we could do a tournament where only the top tiers get invited to play, and that kind of thing. So looking for feedback on that idea. I don't think seasons need to be a month long. And when you look at the numbers, there's like a lot of people who only play 1 game anyway, or 2 games anyway in the season. So I don't know that 30 days is the best way to do it, especially if we want to be moving towards more competitive ranked play and tournaments and stuff. So yeah, and the rewards would increase, so there'd be more tiers, more things coming. We'd probably have some more variant cards added, more crafting materials, that kind of thing. And then I am going to put a new chat room together that is dedicated to the tutorial. And people who have an interest in working on the tutorial, it'll be like a tutorial strike team.
Ooh,
and
okay.
if you are interested in that tutorial group, just be on Discord. I will announce when I set it up, and I'll let people in. As long as you are helpful and polite, or silent is fine, you can be in the room. If you're mean to another person or you shoot down someone's idea in a shitty way, like, I'll boot you. Like, the idea with these smaller channels is like everybody has to act and be treated like they are at their job. They're awesome game development, totally unpaid job. So, you know, how you wouldn't talk, if you wouldn't say it to your coworkers or you wouldn't say it to your boss, you shouldn't say it in one of these chat rooms. Is a good way to think about it. Like, if you want to troll somebody about an OP faction, you can do it in general. But these private channels are for focus, to make sure that we are getting stuff done. But I want to start getting new versions of the tutorial out as early as next week, and start getting like iteration on them. So this will be the room where we're doing the main, like, collecting the feedback and saying, well, this doesn't work and we forgot this and we need to add the ability to explain this to users and that kind of thing. So it'll be a very focused, let's get the tutorial done. And if we can get pretty close to something that resembles a good tutorial this month, then next month we will start advertising finally to bring in new players, to make sure that the tutorial is good enough for them to, like, learn to play. And we'll just continue adding cards, making the new player experience and tutorial better, and balancing things and advertising, and just repeating those again and again and again and again until Doomtrooper is the biggest game on the planet. Nobody's talking, so I'm out. I'm done. I'm out of things.
I'm gonna finish my coffee. It's gonna happen right now.
Oh, nobody likes the tutorial group or the season rewards. Maybe everybody's just playing Doomtrooper.
There are a lot of games going on.
Yeah. Nope.
Wait.
They are not. Everyone's watching me instead.
Oh. Oh, that's the hour. Okay, it's a breakdown by hour. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, it dramatically dropped between last hour and this hour.
It's because we're streaming. All the regulars are here.
Oh, man. All right.
So yeah, that's what's up.
That's what's up, yo. That's what's up.
Any updates on special events, like being able to use pre-decks or a commander type thing?
Not yet.
Unfortunately not. Well, technically yes. Technically, I said this before, the tutorial is an event. So in code, there's something called like the Doomtrooper events, or in my engine, it's not really Doomtrooper. In my engine, there's an event system that can trigger a special event. What that means is there's a big config file that says use these rules, use these cards, use this dialogue, all this stuff, and these rewards. And the tutorial uses that. So Technically, yes. So any work we do on the tutorial makes the event system better. So once the tutorial's done, we can transition over to the faction wars, which will also use the event system. And then beyond that, there will be special events like tournaments, some sort of commander type mode, just special events where you use decks of cards that aren't out yet. I think that's what you said, right? Like pre-decks. I don't know if that's what you meant. But I would like to be able like, oh, here's some new cards that aren't out yet. Test them in this event. And then there's like rewards for playing the event. So that'll be fun. Solifin says he's asking which card was broken. It was What Is Thy Bidding? Of course, because it's always What Is Thy Bidding?
I like to watch the little corgi head fall into the jar. It's funny.
I love how we like give the cats all this catnip. And then they're gone. And
No kittens.
And there's Dog and Roomba.
Effie. No kittens.
Yeah, so if anybody here has programming experience, the light version of what's going wrong with fate cards like What Is Thy Bidding is
Obama.
if you play a card, like any fate card that just targets one thing, the code gets that one thing that you targeted. So if I say I'm going to play this card and target Julie, the code will get a variable called target and it will be Julie. However, I think Invader set it up this way. When you play certain fate cards during combat, it will get a list where the first card is the previous card played during the combat, and the second card is the target. And it does that in case the card needs to do something like miscommunication. It can target the previous card that was played. So it kind of makes sense. So the bug, really, and I cannot fix this now, is that we should change all cards to always get a list. Even if that list only has one thing in it, it should always be a list for consistency. Where currently it can be a thing or a list, which causes a lot of the bugs that you guys have seen over the past 6 months. Major oversight. So for those of you who are going to design your own card game engine, make things consistent, because they will bite you in the ass later.
Wow. Okay.
What about drafting? So there are 2 versions of drafting that I want to build this year. One of them would be a true draft where everybody signs up to play at a certain time and everyone sees the same card pool. And if somebody quits in the middle of it, the other guy just gets the win. The other one is more like Hearthstone's arena mode, where there's just an ephemeral pool of cards that you choose from. And then you play against other players who also drafted cards, but you're not drafting the same set. You're just drafting from the computer. And then you play until you get like 3 losses. So we're calling that more of like the tentative name is to call that a strike force or a strike, which is from Destiny, kind of. Where it's basically like you draft a deck against the computer and then you can play that deck forever in this mode until you get 3 losses. Sealed, you open a few packs and make a deck out of it. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's probably doable, though. I mean, everything's doable in the long run. It's just if... I've always said before, the more types of games we have, we start splitting the community, and we already have a lot of hours during, like, late night California when there's not a lot of players. So let's imagine we have late night California now, but you can play casual mode, ranked mode, strike mode, draft mode, sealed mode, or the special event. There are 6 lobbies and 2 players. You'll never find an opponent. So we have to be careful of how fast we add those. But in the beginning, we'll use the event system. So we'll say we're going to do a draft or a strike on Saturday from noon to midnight. And it'll only exist. So most players will probably go play that. And then when it's done, it'll close forever. And you'll just go back to normal games. We could even like turn off normal games during beta and say everyone has to play this new mode if we want to test it. But I don't know. The most important thing right now is to just get the new player experience done. Because after that, it's just add more cards and add more content and just keep going. So
Yes, tutorial.
I also have updates to matchmaking I've been talking about. I'm working on the idea of casual and ranked mode, and if there's nobody in one of them, it'll match them together, but only one person will be casual, one person will be ranked, and you'll still get your rewards based on what you chose. And then the same, if there are no players while we're in beta, I'll let you play against an AI opponent, which will still give you the rewards for the mode you were trying to play. So that way, if you want to play and you're trying to beat, you have a mission that's like win 10 ranked matches, but there's no players, it's unfair that you can't get your rewards.
Right.
So if I give you an AI, then you can at least get your rewards and you'll keep playing. That probably won't last forever, but for the while we're a smaller community, I think that might be helpful. Team modes based on mode like Mythgard. When you get into team mode, it gets tricky. That's something I would like to do in the future, but there's a reason why a lot of CCGs, digital CCGs, don't have like true multiplayer, like 4-player games or team modes or anything. It's just because the UI can change quite a bit, and it can change a lot of the code that was written. I have written most of my code to account for more than 2 players, most of it. If we tried to do it now, there would be bugs because I didn't write all the code and other people didn't know we were doing that. But a lot of the foundation for future like 4-player or even 20-player matches is in the code. It's just far from ready.
Excuse me.
Really what it comes down to is, like I said, the new player experience. So players get the tutorial, they learn how to play, they can earn new decks, they get special quests, they start getting rewards, they get hooked on the process, and they keep playing. Like, that's a big step.
Hooked on DT.
Then adding new cards and balance is always going to be important because you don't want people to have a 97% win rate because that means other people have a 3% win rate and a 97 lose rate, and that's bad. So we need to make sure that like people are having fun when they play. But as long as people are having fun and they keep playing and more people join, which means more people of that community will
Thank you, Humble.
people will start purchasing packs and cosmetics and supporting the project. Like, as that starts to rise up, we could hire another engineer. And then when we hire an engineer, we could put them on multiplayer, for example, or iOS version or Android version or phones or tablets or Xbox. Like, the more people that play the game, the more that will support it financially. And the more that support it financially, the faster we can get the stuff in. So it's like a snowball that grows very quickly. So hopefully, this next crucial month or so goes well. Hi, Thorgal.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You feel like a pretty princess when you do that with your hair?
Is Bauhaus OP? I mean, Tomek, I talked about it earlier a little bit. Wow.
What is happening?
I can't see
with
anything.
you?
I talked about it earlier a little bit. It's basically just the power curve of most factions is here and up. And Bauhaus starts here and then moves up quicker. So they are mathematically more powerful than every other faction. It doesn't mean that they're really that much more powerful. It's just, if played in the right player's hands, mathematically, I mean, like I said earlier, just look at Etoile Mortant versus Samurai. Like, Samurai is here, Etoile is like here. Like, significant, and that's the starting point.
Pretty high for a grunt warrior.
Yeah, so the lowest warrior of Bauhaus is so much more powerful than the lowest Cybertronic.
An
or the
armor,
lowest whatever.
an armor of 6 is pretty legit.
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty legit for a starting
So
warrior.
if you imagine that the starting warrior for Bauhaus has 6 armor, that means you
Your
need
samurai can't do anything against them.
you need 12, 13, 14. You need a huge amount if you want to do Slayer on them. So usually, if you play like a mid-range Slayer guy, you can slay a smaller entry-level guy. Like, you can kill a Samurai, you can kill a Mirrorman probably, depending on their augments. But you can't kill an Etoile Mortant. So in order to kill that, you need like a Nazgoroth or something. Like it's like I said, it's not significant, but it's there.
Well, apparently it is
Yeah.
to certain folks.
Like if you're a good player, who cares? Just kill him another way. But if you're like a traditional player and you're relying on Slayer to wipe out other guys, plus maybe you're Dark Legion Slayer, and they not only do they have 6, but they also have power immunity, so your dimensional warp doesn't work. It starts to fall apart a little bit. So it's definitely a problem we need to look at. It's like Tomek and Thorgol and I mean anyone who might like disagree. Michael also disagreed. A way to look at it is if your wife grunts at you as you walk past in the kitchen and she's frowning, and you say, "Honey, what's wrong? Did I do something?" And she says, "No, it's fine." You could just go about your day and be like, "Well, it's fine." But there's some truth in that grunt. The fact that she grunted, the fact that she had a tone when she said,
a veiled criticism of me?
Because I won't hear it and I won't
respond.
Basically,
Zone.
or another example is if you're dating someone new and it's the first, second, third date and they say something or do something really offensive. And you're like, it's probably just me, or I misheard that. Like, when there are these little clues in your life and you choose to ignore them, usually it means that you're ignoring a problem. And what I mean by that is if enough people mention that Bauhaus is overpowered and we ignore it, it's like we're ignoring the red flags in our dates, or we're ignoring our wife being mad at us because we just don't want to deal with it. Like, there is always truth in the things we choose to ignore. Now,
I don't think it's an actual dig at our relationship, because Justin doesn't ignore anything.
That's true, I don't.
To the point where I'm just like, can you just let it go? He's like, no. No, you made that sound in the kitchen. So
and I want to make sure that everything's fine.
No, he does. So this isn't even a real life example.
The question isn't, hi Slayer. If you missed it, we have daylight savings time, so we're at the end of our stream now. No, so the question isn't, like, I think a lot of people hear that Bauhaus is OP and they think, oh my god, Bauhaus, you think Bauhaus is that powerful? No, we're not saying that Bauhaus is the most powerful faction in the game. That's not what people are saying. And they're not saying that Bauhaus has a 97% win rate. And they're not saying that Bauhaus is so incredibly godlike. Maybe they do say that, but they're wrong. But what we need to hear is that people are unhappy with the strength curve of Bauhaus, and we need to figure out why that is. There's always truth in what they're saying, whether or not what they say is actually true.
BRB.
If that makes sense. Where are you going? Oh. So hopefully that makes sense. So if someone comes in and they're like, Bauhaus is the most powerful faction in the game, that's not what I hear. I hear someone is unhappy with Bauhaus and we need to take a look at it. So, yeah, because they are amateurs and divas. Just from like a game development standpoint or a customer service standpoint, like when somebody is upset, you need to hear them. And you can use a marriage example again. Like if your wife is mad at you, but you disagree with what you don't think she's right, you don't want to argue that she's wrong to be mad at you, because her feelings are justified. And there's a reason she feels that way. And the more you can empathize and understand that, the better off you and your relationship will be, whether or not you agree with the reason she's mad at you. Basically, like her feelings of being mad at you are justified, even if the reasoning might not be to you. So when somebody's mad at...
Yep, you heard me.
When somebody's mad about Bauhaus, their feelings are justified, even if their complaints are not correct.
He always uses, like, relationships as an example, or at least today, and everyone's like, oh, God, what's going on with them? But, like...
our relationship's fine. I'm more referring to you guys.
No, but you make it sound like you always use...
If somebody complains about Bauhaus, and then you dismiss them 100%, I'm more concerned about like when your wife grunts at you in the kitchen and you.
Risky examples. I know. What
I'm
the
more
fuck?
worried about when your wife grunts at you in the kitchen and you ignore that 100%. I'm just trying to help you guys out to understand that there is always context under the surface.
There's always money in the banana
There's
stand.
always money in the banana stand. So hopefully that makes sense. I think a lot of people who might be married or in long-term relationships probably get what I mean. Like there's like the power curve of Bauhaus could be just this much more powerful. But if more than one person mentions it, then it's something worth looking at. So even if like in the future it might be a 60% win rate. It's not that overpowered, but it's still a little high and we want to bring that down. So we need to listen to the pulse. We need to have our finger on the pulse of the community. And right now the pulse agrees that Bauhaus's power curve is powerful and the math backs it up. So, yeah. Michael, marriage is coding. If wife unhappy, then make wife happy. Else, divorce. It's programming. It's easy. Marriage is easy. Right, Julie?
It would be easier if we could redo this microphone camera thing to make me happy.
Oh my God. What you guys don't understand is everything is mounted like super tight. Like
They don't need to understand
No,
it.
they're gonna.
And neither do I. It just needs to be fixed.
we're gonna.
You're gonna give everybody nausea with that shaky cam action right there.
Show and tell.
There's a problem, you guys. The microphone is here and the camera is here, and Justin is sitting on this side of me, so he keeps talking towards the microphone, leaning in to the over me.
In order to move this monitor,
Nobody puts me in a corner.
we need the camera to be where this monitor is, but this monitor is mounted to this pole. So, and this monitor is mounted to this pole. So in order to
Too many monitors.
in order to move this monitor so this fits here, there's a significant amount of stuff that has to be moved around.
Well, fine, but then this mic needs to be over there so that
I'm
you
not-
stop crossing the stream.
Then they won't hear you.
I'm little. At least if I lean in and lean over you, I'm not gonna like cover your entire being.
Blame it on the poles. Oh, I did not say that. So anyways, here's a fun look at what we got. The microphones here.
See?
And for anyone interested in streaming, so the microphone. Wait, turn a little.
Oh,
to
now
the-
I'm sorry.
look
Get
at
out of the
no,
way.
You can look at this camera. So the microphone now goes to this audio input here.
Bye, Buck. Thanks for joining.
Which is also the volume control, which is really great. So no more USB. And then the Stream Deck controls all the scenes. OBS is on top.
typical Justin.
Everything we're doing is here, and I usually keep chat on this monitor. So, and ignore my wires that you can see. It's a little bit of a mess because I was rearranging things, but I swear my wires are usually completely hidden. So,
Sure, they were all devastated by that view.
all right, well, here's a little show and tell. But I will be sure to fix it for next weekend.
Oh, for the love of God, please fix Bauhaus so that we don't have to hear
I'm
about
talking about
it.
the camera.
Oh, okay. Yes, do that too.
Because if your wife is unhappy, then divorce, else live forever. Marriage is coding, and I need to fix this apparently. Hey, look, you can see the other camera now.
Cameras on
Camera
cameras.
1, camera 2.
Oh, there it is.
Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1. You guys old enough to know Wayne's World? Nah. Bauhaus is fixed. LOL, please protect my 9 or 7% win rate. Streaming setups are always way more messy than the shot is all set up to capture. It's true, Willow, but I spend a lot of time, like I've spent 6-7 solid hours wiring everything. The problem is when I add something new or disconnect something, it screws it up, and sometimes the wires get loose, and I have to redo it. But if you consider the fact that I have one, two,
I'm never showing my desk on stream.
3 monitors, plus I have a computer down there. There's another computer.
Simply Nuck.
And you simply Nuck down here. Speakers, headphones, audio input, stream deck. I have 2 mice, keyboard, microphone, everything. Like, I have a lot going on here with a capture card and everything. But if you were to look at it from the right angle, you don't see any wires, except for the ones that I want you to see, like this really cool coiled one. It is doable, and I always argue with John because he's an audio guy, so he has like analog keyboards and guitars and tons of stuff.
John makes music for.
He claims that he can't wire everything up neatly, and I disagree. I think he could. He just doesn't want to. Speaking of John, I don't know if I have permission for this, but as some of you know, we've been wanting to release the Doomtrooper soundtrack on Spotify. And we have the nice ambient tracks, which you're listening to right now, but we want some metal tracks for like events or boss fights or trailers. So John has been rounding out the soundtrack with 2 metal tracks. And I got the first one today, which I'm going to try to play for you, and you can let me know. The question is, does it sound like Doomtrooper to you? And is it too metal? So,
I don't think it's too
hang on. Why is it not working? I broke it. All right. Here we go. All right, so there we go. A lot of people have complained that the music that we use doesn't sound like Doomtrooper, and they expect more metal. So that's the question.
Hi, Mar Hero.
This is totally cool, just enough metal. Love it, but it's a bit muddy in the low end. It's super early, and I'm not even supposed to probably play it. So sorry, John. Too metal, in my honest opinion, not enough electronics. Well, Solifin, to be fair, he said, how metal are we talking here? Because I started a track here for Doomtroopers, and it's like metal as fuck, maybe too metal. And then he said, do you think it can be too metal? And then he said, still missing a lot of the synth work.
Okay, I was going to say it needs a little bit more industrial.
And stuff like an intro.
Okay,
so
yeah.
there will be more synth and stuff, but... and to be clear, this is not replacing the music we have now. The idea is that when you're playing a game, you probably don't want to listen to that. You probably either want to turn the music off and listen to your own music, or you want something that kind of fades into the background because you're focusing on strategy, you're not playing Guitar Hero.
But after 10 games, it might be too much.
Yeah, so it's not... Your 10 games will be the standard ambient... We call it like techno ambient horror sounds. That's what we have now. Like, they're supposed to sound like the movie Alien. Like, if you were like... I don't know, in the movie Alien, what kind of music would be playing? That's what we have now. This would be used for trailers. It would be on Spotify. Hopefully we'd press a vinyl record of it. That's the goal. And sell it for people who want to collect it with like Paul Bonner art on the cover. And then this would be used, let's say we introduce Ilian. And you get to play a really, really hard fight against Ilian before she's added to the game. And if you beat her, you get the first Ilian card. Something like that. We could use this music for that fight because it'd be like a special boss fight, but not for their average ranked match, just for like really special occasions. So yeah, that's
Weakling Cybertronic destroyed Bauhaus. And Cybertronic is way more fun to play than Bauhaus.
I will say that
There's
been some really cool ideas by, I think it was Tomek, discussed on Discord. Let's see. What do we got? Max Steiner, he suggested. So I really like counters, like little tokens you put on cards to count things. We don't use them enough. Like Coagulant Auto Injector has 3 counters on it. He suggested Max Steiner, when your Venusian Ranger becomes wounded, put 1 counter on Max, and he has +5 to fight and shoot until the Venusian Ranger is healed. There's a lot of interesting ideas there. So basically, when his people get wounded, he becomes stronger. And then Venusian Rangers, he had enter your squad with 1 counter. Once during your turn, you can remove a counter to choose an option. During next combat, gain +2 to fight, shoot, and armor. During next combat, gain first strike. I think he may have forgotten the idea of getting more counters, though. So the idea of like, and he suggested something the other day about, it's basically like, what if you could remove a counter from a guy to choose one of 3 things? You know, you get this, or this to happen. So it opens up kind of like the augment system. It opens up like a strategy of, I need more fight, so I'm going to remove this, or I need to give one of my coworkers, my squad mates, first strike, some sort of ability like that. I think it'd be fun. Tomek says, I did not. Please check suggestion channels. You did not what?
Say that. Whatever that
I mean, I'm looking at Tomek. Oh. Wait. What? Now I'm confused, Tomek. It's definitely you who said that. Because I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, I can see those words.
Were you drinking or did I misunderstand you? Were you drunk designing Doomtrooper cards? Because that would be fun. Please check suggestions channel. What are we at here?
Ooh, wow. Wow. Tomek got a freaking little, like...
It was the original Tomek. I didn't forget about options. Okay. Oh. You can remove 1 token to put 1 counter on target warrior. Okay. And Etoile Mortant, enter your squad with 1 counter. Once during your turn, you can remove 1 counter to gain until end of turn either power immunity, blessed, or +3 when attacking Dark Legions and Heretics. So yeah, there's some interesting ideas there. And they're in the suggestions channel on Discord if anybody wants to look at them and chat about them. But I really like the idea of counters. I really like the idea of the counters representing your choice of things. So it puts some more randomness and strategy into play. It makes it more fun. And I also really like it because, as Tomek always kind of remembers, is there are themes to Doomtrooper. And the theme for Bauhaus is usually efficiency, like German efficiency. And the idea of counters and collecting and moving counters around kind of plays off the efficiency idea. I don't know if that was intentional, Tomek, but like that's perfect because the idea of like I have this counter. But
hey man, wait. We were saying Etoile, okay? Like that's how we in the beginning of the stream we were talking about that. At least we're saying Etoile.
Etoile. Is that better? Etoile. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, like, "Oh, what's your ancestry? Like, where do you come from?" And my answer is always the same: hillbillies. My mom's side and my dad's side. Yeah, a lot of my friends are like, even her life. If you go back to our grandparents or even our grandparents' grandparents somewhere in Europe, right? Like, if I go back to my grandparents' grandparents, I'm in Mississippi. True story. I have no culture in my history. Any culture I have, the fact that I can say Etoile
It's pretty amazing.
Is all me. It has nothing to do with my history. I have no culture historically other than American hillbilly culture. You know, props, like I'm not dissing. My grandpa's brother is 99 years old and still apparently alive down in the hills of Alabama.
His name is Leicester.
True story. Yeah. Grandparents, I'd be in Portugal. Yeah. I would be in Mississippi or I think Ohio. My dad's side just goes back to like Ohio and Pennsylvania. So
I had to teach Justin to use a butter knife when eating.
I can't verify this, but my grandparents, maybe, somewhere around there, got kicked out of England for petty theft and came to America. So even if I do get back to Europe, it's an uneducated thief. It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Damn.
I just randomly started playing Seven Nation Army on my bass.
Because it's a good song. That's why.
All right.
Babe,
Well,
I'm tired. I can't do this anymore.
Thank you guys.
So tired.
Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been fun, as always. I like that. Sorry about the hour change. I like that 15 to 20 of you people show up every week to drink my coffee with me. It's nice. As a reminder.
Thanks, Mar Hero. What up?
As a reminder, update tonight. Let me know how you feel about the seasons being longer, like 2 months per season instead of one. And if you're interested in helping with a new tutorial, watch for Discord. And check out the suggestions channel to see what Tomek is suggesting with counters. I'd like to hone in on that idea and maybe get it in the next update. And
so, are we gonna do something about Bauhaus? That's on the thing, right?
Suggestions channel.
No, I know, but I meant like what you're actually working on today.
Okay.
Just.
You've totally confused me.
Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
What am I? All right.
I don't know.
All right, hang on.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I don't know. I wasn't trying to.
Okay.
So tired.
All right, we're
Sorry.
just gonna.
It's me. I'm so tired. Like I said when I started, I couldn't sleep last night. I had coffee and then I got really anxious and then I got really depressed and I didn't get a lot of sleep. I'm so tired.
All right. I'll be on Discord shortly to work on.
Bauhaus.
And thanks guys for hanging out. So I'll be back next week, and I've actually been wanting to do programming streams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since you've done a programming.
Yeah,
stream.
I think I'm about ready to do some coding streams again. So I enjoy coding and drinking some whiskey and like hanging out, and it's just nice. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll announce it. So, all right. I will see you guys next week or on Discord, and thanks for supporting me on this crazy journey. Bye.
Bye.